Welcome to event coverage of the Ontario BMW GS Challenge. I'm Pat Gonzalez, and joining me to call this event is the ever-entertaining Clinton Smouth, the BMW GS Trophy Canadian team manager. Clinton, tell us about this program.
Well, Pat, the BMW GS Challenge that we're hosting in Ontario is just one of 3 regional events where competitors can qualify to make it onto a 3-person Canadian team. They will be sent all expenses paid to Mongolia in June of 2018, where teams from around the world will battle it out. It's an 8-day event with intensive daily stages, all adventure riding challenges.
Well, if you want that free ride and to represent Canada to the motorcycle world, you first must qualify. And to do that, you first must not only survive but thrive through the 2-day Ontario qualifier before taking on your fellow countrymen at the Fundy Adventure National Championship at Adair Wilderness Lodge in New Brunswick, about an hour north of Moncton.
Put your hand up if you're not here.
Some 25 riders arrived at Horseshoe Resort at the Smart Riding Adventures Camp, getting set to try to become one of the top 10 riders who would go on to the ultimate qualifying competition on Sunday. Clinton, let's take a look at what those 25 riders faced here on the Saturday.
We have Yak Turns, then the Pylon Kickover Pickup, and our Hills and Pit area. Very tight slalom, single track, then our easy loop, we called it, in the pit. Mud ruts, our motocross track, then hill recovery, and lastly our written test.
So Clinton, those 10 events have qualified the 10 riders who will go on to the program on Sunday, as we see the written test being wrapped up, and now an opportunity to sit back, relax, and enjoy a bit of a barbecue time.
All right.
Yes, Pat, we had a fantastic day. I'm always happy at the end when nobody's hurt and there's been minimal bike damages.
Everybody got their picture taken. That'll be a great memento to take back home from your day here at Horseshoe Resort. We've got our big Sunday races coming up, but it has started to rain here and really coming down. This will make things very difficult on Sunday. Threatening skies here at Horseshoe Resort as we get set for the 10 riders who will battle through 8 stage challenges here. 5 events will be timed, 3 will be based on the penalty points. But Clinton, these will be very difficult conditions after all of this rain.
Yes, Pat, the challenge is increased tenfold with all the mud and the water. We'll be assessing foot dabs, stalls, and falls, and some of the activities are timed, as you said, so if they make it up the hill at all, I'll be amazed.
First there were 25, we boiled that down to the top 10, and now we'll see who are the top 3 riders who are going to go on to the National GS Challenge in New Brunswick.
I'm Steve Boulanger, originally from Quebec City, and now I'm living down in Central America, Costa Rica.
My name is Amir Dust from Toronto. I'm riding 2014 GS 800 Adventure.
Morning, Steve Maxwell. I'm from Ottawa, riding a 1200 GS and having a good time out here at the GS Challenge.
I'm doing the GS Challenge. I've had a GS for just 3 years now, and I'm having a blast here. It's great time, learning lots and having a great time.
Brent McKee, I'm from Arthur, Ontario, here to have a little bit of fun and get muddy.
I'm Marc Chartrand, I'm from Chelsea, Quebec, just minutes from Ottawa.
Here to have fun, here to get wet, and hope to qualify.
Where are you from?
Hello, bonjour. I'm from Montreal. My name is Martin Emil, and I'm here to the great event for the GS Challenge.
Yeah, hi, I'm Artur Ronovitsky. I live in London, Ontario, and I got a great time. I love it. I'm going to stay here.
Hi, Clint Mcbride, out of Brantford, Ontario. I'm General Manager at Dual Sport Plus motorcycle shop in Brantford. I'm here at the GS Challenge and hoping to do well today.
Jamie Jones, St. George, Ontario, Dual Sport Plus sponsor.
There you see just how much water has fallen overnight here at the Horseshoe Resort as we get set for our first event, the Yak Turns.
The Yak Turn was really exciting. You can see all the water. Imagine you've woken up in the morning in a herd of yaks and you've got to get out of there as quickly as possible. So this was a timed event through the water, through the sand, and through the mud.
And so, Clinton, in this opening challenge, you want to get off to a good start, not have any kind of a problem. And right now we look at Jamie Jones out of Brantford, very skilled rider, doing a great job here on his 800 GS.
Absolutely, Pat. To finish first you have to finish. So if you go too hard and fall in the mud, you're wasting time and energy to pick that bike back up.
Jamie Jones completing his run. Here's another Brantford rider, Clint Mcbride, also on the 800 GS. As we watch him attack the course, you want to have as much speed around these pylons because it is a timed event, but not so much speed given how tricky the course is with all that rain.
Exactly. You can see Clint's really using the throttle to help him get around those corners faster.
Just a couple of pylons to go for him to complete his run. And of course, this event being timed on the clock, looks like he has a pretty clean run. Just visually doesn't look as fast as Jamie Jones went earlier.
You're right. Here comes Artur on his big HP2. This bike is a lot longer wheelbase than any BMW made for off-road, so it's a little harder on tight turns.
Artur Ronovitsky, the racing truck driver, doing a great job. Boy, does he have a great attitude for this kind of adventure riding as you see him working his way through the lake, as we call it here, in the Yak Turns competition. Having a little bit of a problem there. That's going to cost him some time.
Yeah, we loved Artur. His attitude, we should have gave him points for that, although we didn't. But soaking wet, tired, driving all over Ontario to get his own other bike.
Well, here we look at Costa Rica's Steve Belanger, the software designer, and not a good start trying to pick that motorcycle back up. That is a big, heavy 1200, and right now he's rolling again, but that one fall is going to cost him an awful lot of time.
You're right, Pat, and you'll see when Steve does fall, he's got a unique way of picking it up. There's probably 4 different ways. This one takes a little longer, but it's easier on your back.
Not a good start to the proceedings here for Steve Belanger, the rider who now calls Costa Rica home. Going again, and there's another rider hitting the dirt. Amir Durst out of Toronto has only been riding for 4 years, and some of that inexperience here showing.
Yes, you can see, Pat, now it's getting all chewed up. So Amir had some trouble on that tight turn, the front end swap. So there's an advantage of going first in some sections, sometimes not. But this is definitely hard.
Mark Chartrand out of Montreal on the F800 GS. Again, a couple of our riders here from Quebec. There is a qualifying event in Quebec, but they've decided to come to try to qualify via this Ontario event. And right now, Chartrand having a pretty good run. He is on one of the F800 GS machines, having a little bit of a difficulty through that particular section. But Clinton, it seems like the F800 GSs are a little more nimble through these tight pylon slalom course.
Yeah, the smaller, lighter bike is definitely easier to get through loose terrain. But the big 1200 has got gobs of torque. It will throw mud and power that bike through.
Ottawa's Steve Maxwell on one of those R1200 GSs. Rider having a pretty good run on the big bike. as we have Martin Amel, the second of our Quebec riders. Amel here on his G650X. This bike is over 10 years old and a rider who does an awful lot of off-road riding. And so let's have a look at the results of our Yak Turns Challenge. Jamie Jones with the win, 45.5 seconds. Martin Amel, Clint Mcbride, Arthur Ronowecki, and then Marc Chartrand rounds out our top 5.
Stalls, falls, this is called the garage, or en français, garage.
Getting set for the second of our challenges here at the GS Challenge. This one, the garage in Clinton. This calls for a tremendous amount of balance, throttle, and clutch control.
Yeah, it's all about going slow in this one, Pat. The riders must be able to ride the clutch to control their speed, dab a rear brake to rein it in, transfer their weight to the high side of the bike, and have their eyes up.
Here is Jamie Jones, a rider with a great deal of trials experience. He puts that to good use with a pretty good run here, but I think he did have some penalty points.
Yeah, just a few at the end, Pat.
Clint Mcbride from Brantford, Ontario, aboard that 2014 800 GS, one of the lighter of the BMW GS machines. Here he is running through this floor plan, if you will, of the garage with some fictitious walls there. Not sure if he got a penalty there. Looks like he may have grazed one of those walls here on the floor plan as he's about to complete his run. And now we look at our overall winner. Steve Maxwell takes challenge number 2. And let's have a look at the results. There's Steve Maxwell, just 3 penalty points. Jamie Jones with 6 points in second. Clint Mcbride, Arthur Ronowecki, and then Brent McKee rounds out our top 5. And we look at our overall leaderboard after 2 of 8 events. It is Jamie Jones with a win and a second place finish. He is your leader. McBride, Maxwell, and the rest of the top 10. Getting set for stage challenge number 3, the trials course in Clinton. Looks like this will be a very, very difficult challenge. Those riders with trials experience have a big advantage.
You're right, Pat. The slow speed, precision riding is the skill sets here.
And here are the riders taking the traditional walk of the course to see exactly what they'll be facing. It'll be a lot easier walking it than it will be riding it.
That's for sure, especially if they drag some moisture up on these slippery obstacles.
Let's have a look at our overall points leader through the first couple of challenges. Jamie Jones aboard his 800 GS, and looks like he has a solid run going here, a rider with a great deal of trials experience.
Yeah, you can see how challenging and how tight it is, Pat. This is one of the toughest sections. It's just a culvert lying in the sand.
Nicely over that obstacle. As Jamie Jones, the overall points leader, looking to add to his lead. Now we look at the rider. Oh, problem there for Clint Mcbride. That is going to cost him an awful lot of points, as Clint Mcbride came into this third challenge sitting second behind Jamie Jones, and that's going to put him a little bit further back.
You can see, Pat, that it's not all about speed. It's really important to keep your eyes up, and you'll see Arthur, what just slipped off the teeter-totter there.
And that is going to cost him as he tries to move up here in challenge number 3. And this course getting quite a bit rutted. Now we go with Quebec rider Marc Chartrand.
Good job.
And again, Chartrand looking to qualify here at this Ontario event. And he has a problem in that same teeter-totter section.
Yes, and Mark will struggle through it. Once he got past the teeter-totter, he really started moving through with power. And as it gets more and more chewed up, as more riders go through, the challenge goes up.
Well, with all those overnight rains, the course is getting chewed up in a big way. When we gets right off of that log section as we look at the results of challenge number 3, the trials course. It is Jamie Jones with the win. Arthur Ronowecki, followed by Clint McBride, Steve Maxwell, and Brent McKee. So Jamie Jones has won 2 of the first 3 challenges here at our BMW Motorrad GS Challenge.
And look at those results, Pat. Jamie Jones, 1 single foot dab is all we could catch him on. Second place had 10 more points.